Today, I want to talk about something many of us have invested time, money, and energy into: ownership. For generations, owning things, homes, cars, and assets was seen as a sign of stability and success. For many people, it started with a home, a car, perhaps even rent or properties to build wealth. But over time, we've begun to see the hidden costs of ownership, the rising complexity, and the demands that often outweigh the rewards. It's becoming increasingly common to ask, is ownership really worth it? Today, I want to explore how ownership, which was once seen as the ultimate form of security, is being reconsidered by individuals who are looking for freedom and flexibility over endless maintenance. Owning assets today isn't what it used to be. For one, there's the sheer complexity of modern ownership. In previous generations, buying a home was often a local transaction. You'd buy from a local seller at a price largely set by local demand. But now the real estate market has become a global playing field where you're not just competing with people from your town or even your country. You're competing with investors from all over the world, from major corporations to international buyers looking to park their money in stable assets. What was once a straightforward transaction has become part of a global competitive hustle, one where property values skyrocket, but so do the costs and barriers to entry. Today, it's a legal hustle just to buy and maintain a property. Regulatory standards are constantly evolving, with things like the Green Deal and energy efficiency mandates pushing up the costs and complexity of home ownership. Compliance requires everything from insulation upgrades to energy efficient windows and so on. While these measures are crucial for sustainability, they make owning real estate feel less like an investment and more like managing a business. And even if you hire people to help, property managers, repair services, or accountants, you're still not free. You're paying them, coordinating with them, and monitoring their work, which brings its own level of responsibility and expense. Ownership then can feel like a job in itself, whether you're the one managing it directly or overseeing those you've hired to do so. There's also an ironic shift in what money can buy. With today's money, we can buy incredibly powerful technology, phones, computers, devices that are literally more advanced than what initially put astronauts into space. Yet, when it comes to the essentials like land, property, and the construction materials, costs are so high that even a good income struggles to cover the basics. Somehow it's easier and more affordable to buy the latest technology than it is to buy a bricks for a house. The cost of maintenance and repairs has skyrocketed as well. Someone has shared with me recently that they bought a new car confident that its warranty would cover for any major issues. But when it broke down, the repair bill totaled $12,000. Even under warranty, he was expected to pay almost half of that out of his pocket. This was not some luxury upgrade, just a basic repair. Today, the cost of maintaining or repairing even essential items are soaring to new heights, adding yet another layer of unpredictability to ownership. These factors are contributing to a significant shift in values, especially among younger generations like Gen Z. Many in this generation are choosing to opt out of traditional ownership. They've grown up watching the volatility of the housing market, the rising cost of living, and the impact of debt on their parents and peers. To them, taking on the responsibility of property ownership doesn't look like security. It looks like a risk. So they are choosing flexibility instead. They would rather rent an apartment where they can move whenever they want than be tied down by a mortgage. They're also more interested in experiences than possessions. This generation values access over ownership. They'd rather rent or share what they need, be it apartment, a car, a workspace, than take on a burden of owning something outright. This shift reflects a new way of defining success. Where success used to be about accumulating assets, now it's about freedom, about having the flexibility to move, adapt, and pursue experiences rather than material possessions. Millennials and Gen Z have grown up in a time of unprecedented abundance. Unlike past generations who focused on accumulating what they could for security or survival, these generations have access to nearly anything they want anytime they want it. Because of this abundance, many of them are embracing minimalism and choosing to live with less, not out of scarcity, but as a conscious decision to focus on what truly matters. They're consuming consciously, preferring to invest in experiences and relationships over possessions. Rather than chasing ownership for the sake of owning, they are choosing flexibility, sustainability, and freedom from the burdens of maintaining and storing endless material goods. This is reshaping the landscape of ownership and moving society toward a model where quality, meaning, and impact take precedence over mere accumulation. And then there's the hidden cost of ownership that goes beyond money. When you own things, whether it's property, a car, or investment, there's a constant pull on your time, energy, and peace of mind. Property comes with upkeep, taxes, insurance, market value concerns, and even the mental load of staying on top of new regulations. And when things go wrong, as they inevitably do, the costs can be enormous, as we saw with the person who shared with me their repair bill story or the regular property upkeep. The more people own, the more they realize how much they are giving just to maintain those assets. Instead of feeling free, many feel weighed down, constantly managing things that were supposed to bring them stability, but instead create more complexity. It's no wonder so many of us are starting to question, is this really the best way to live? So where are we headed? I think this shift points to a new way of thinking about wealth and success. Instead of accumulating things, many of us are looking to accumulate experiences, to invest in our well-being, and to live with a sense of flexibility and freedom that's hard to achieve when you're tied down by ownership. The market is already responding. We see more rental services, more on-demand options, and more shared solutions from cars to office spaces. This reflects a growing demand for flexibility and simplicity, choices that give people access to what they need without the commitment of ownership. In the real estate market, this shift could mean more co-living spaces and long-term rental options that offer stability without the burden of ownership. It's not about rejecting ownership entirely, it's about redefining success to fit the world we're living in now. In the end, this isn't just about Gen Z or millennials. It's about all of us rethinking what we value. There's a liberating realization in knowing that your life doesn't have to be defined by what you possess. True wealth isn't about assets, it's about time, peace of mind, and the freedom to live a life that aligns with your values. Ownership has its place, of course, but maybe in today's world, wealth is less about what we hold on to and more about what we are free to experience, to explore, and to enjoy it without the constant pull of managing things.